everyone, this is Robin Pike with Crafty Stamper. Today I'm going to feature the Simply Beautiful stamp set. Isn't it lovely? I love the big old flower on it and the leaves. I love this one too. This little one right here. And then here's a smaller flower here. And then that looks like a bud here with a leaf on it. And it's just a really pretty stamp set. And so, but the reason I got started with this one today was because being a demonstrator, Stampin' Up! Sends you a weekly, kind of like their weekly newsletter. And it had this stamp set, and they had used it, and they had colored their flower yellow, which was beautiful. And they used watercolor paper, and so it just looked really good. And I thought, I'm going to make that my own. And so I looked at it, and I love blue. Blue is one of my favorite colors, and I love all colors of blue. So I decided that I would make mine blue. So, and how I started with this, I started outlining, and this is Balmy Blue that I used. So I started outlining the flower, and then I realized, well, I kind of like that. I kind of like just having the white with the tips of blue on there. So then I looked at some green leaves, and I was like, yeah, that looks okay. But I kind of wanted it to all match and kind of flow together. So I created Balmy Blue leaves. Now, we don't usually see Balmy Blue leaves, but you're going to see it on my card today because I thought it looked good with it. I used Memento ink that we have. And so then I decided to layer that on a piece of black. I've got a Balmy Blue base and then the basic black layer. And then I got the basic white, and I used the beautiful pattern embossing folder on here. And this is the embossing folder that I used here. And my card was made. So it was really simple to do. And I'm going to show you a picture. I printed this off, but this is what Stampin' Up! Had sent. And I mean, if you just take this image right here, just plain, nothing there, no color, what color would you see for yourself? What is your favorite color? And that's how I got started. And so, and then this is the finished product that they have. Like I said, it's very pretty. Love the yellow and everything. I think they did a fantastic job with it. But I created my own. I took, their ideal here, but I made it my own. And this is what I came up with. So I wanted to show you how I created this card today. And I've got the Stampin' Positioner here that I used, which really helped with the big flowers. Now, as you know, or you may not know, if you, we have a block, and it's block E, and it will hold the flower. Let me get the flower out here because it is a pretty big flower. So here's the flower here, and it does go on the block E. And like I said, it is pretty big. But I decided to use the stamp positioner just in case it did get dark in some areas, because when you've got a bigger stamp like this, sometimes you might get a little light color here and there. And then sometimes you may not. I'm just going to clean this off while I'm talking to you. But anyway, it will help you. The Stampin' Positioner will, for this very reason. So I want to go ahead and I just kind of jumped down here, like I always do. I never have anything organized. I just hop on here and just start talking. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and open this up here. I'm going to move these out of the way. And these are little magnets here that hold your paper down. And I don't know if you're familiar. This is new to us. We were just able, as demonstrators, to get our hands on it back in February, and it was only for a couple of weeks that they offered it to us. And now it's available to new demonstrators, and you get it free when you sign up. So it's a good time to sign up if you would like to, in order to get this, because it is, I think it's $49 for it originally. So anyway, you would get it for free if you decided to sign up. And I'd love to have you sign up under me. So that's your invitation. Okay, so here and it has these little tabs down here. I don't know what you'd call them. And that's where you put your paper on. Kind of show you a little bit about it. So here's our paper right here. And it comes on a big notebook, and you just tear a piece of paper off and you stick it down and you put it in these little holes. And then these little pieces here will feed. Well, they don't feed. They're the ones that hold everything kind of lining up. There's this little V right here, and you can line your paper up, and it's in between these two little tabs here. You put your paper up there. Let's get this back. So you put your paper up there, and this kind of holds it in between the two little tabs here. And that will keep it sturdy on here. And there is a right side and a wrong side to place these. And this is the correct way to put it here, because it's got this little tab, if you see it, and it just kind of sits up, and it's easy for you to pull up. So that's something to keep in mind. And I'm just going to go ahead. We're just going to play with this. And then these two little tabs here have springs in them. And that's where, when you get ready to use your positioner, then you want to make sure the Stampin' Up! Is down here at the bottom. And you line it up in those two holes there. And then you see it just presses down here. It's just like a little spring. So I'm going to take my flower, and I'm just going to put it right here. But I'm going to put it on the correct way because the way I had it was not correct. Okay, so here I'm just going to get it put on here. Okay, I still got my paper lined up. And sometimes these will stick to your paper. If they're new, they will stick to it. But I have used this one, so it didn't stick to the paper. So here we're just going to ink this up. And I'm using the Memento ink. And it sounds like my dogs are wanting to have an argument with each other out there. So ignore the barking and the fussing. Okay, so here we're just putting it on top, and then we're pressing down. And there you have it. Now, let's just go ahead. I mean, that's a good, everything was lined up and everything was inked good. That's what I'm trying to say. But let's just say it wasn't, inked up good. So we'll put some more ink on here. Make sure we've got our plate fixed right here. Everything's lined up, and we're just going to press it again. And now you have the image is a little bit darker than it was, a little bit clearer than it was. So let's go ahead. We're just going to move this around here, and I'm just going to take this, and I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to put our little magnets on here to hold it down, and I lined it up. We're going to ink this up, and we're going to stamp another one. Let me get the ink in my hand. And I don't know if you know this, but on the Memento ink, it has little indentions here. It just kind of curves, and that's where you can hold it. It gives you a place to hold it real easy. So here we're just going to press down on this. And then we're just going to put it in those little springs there in the little holes, or the little pieces here. And then we're just going to press down. Okay. And then we're going to go over it one more time and get a real crisp image like we did there. Now, is that necessary? No, because this is a very good image here. But I just want it to be a little bit darker, and plus I like playing with it. so why not? And if you notice, when you put this down, it does not touch the paper yet. It will not touch the paper until you press down. So right now, it's not on anything. It's just on the glass, and it's not on your paper. So I'm just going to press down and up. And there's our image. Now, isn't that fun? This is like a little toy. Okay, so I'm just going to move this out of the way. We're just going to lay it back up here, and I'll put it to the side. Now, on here, we can, I think I'll go ahead, because sometimes you need to let this dry just for a little bit, because it could smear with your painting or with your coloring and stuff using the Stampin' Up! Blends. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a leaf right here. Let's see. I used, there was a big leaf I used, so I don't want to use that one. Let me look in here, see if I can find the big leaf. Okay, here's the big leaf that we need. And I will just put it on this block here. Put it on the back of the other block, or the other stamp that I have. Okay. All right. So we've got that. And then I'm going to need to stamp. Let me wash this off here. Sounds like they are angry today. I think they're out there fighting. I have one that wants to, she thinks that she owns all the food that's out there, and we keep food down all the time. But she thinks she owns all the food. and she doesn't want to share. So I don't know if y'all have any dogs that are like that or not, but we do. All right, so they're thinking of you. And I was trying to see, let me look and see if there's anything else. Nope. All right, so I think that's all the stamping there. Move that out of the way and get that out of the way. All right, so here I'm just going to, I'll show you how I did my coloring. Let me get the colors real quick. Okay, so I just took, this is light balmy blue and then dark balmy blue. So, and I'm going to put this over here so you can see it. And here we're just going to start coloring. So what I did, I went all the way around. I went around. This probably took the longest of all of doing anything to the cards. This is so relaxing though. I just enjoy, y'all. I enjoy making cards. I really do. It I mean, yes, I'm running it as a business, but it's only because I love doing this. So just go around through here. And I love to see the surprise on people's faces when they say, "Did you really make that?" And then that makes me feel good when they say that. And so many of the cards are kind of cheesy these days in the store. Or if you get some of the Hallmark cards, wow, they've gone up in price so much. In this, you get to make it and get to have fun with all of it. Okay, so I've outlined this. Now here, I just want to kind of go over these little pieces here. Just kind of make it a little bit bluer in the center. Okay. And that's it. So what do you think about that? Do you like the white with the blue on there? I do. I just love it. But now that's me with my blue. Like I said, I love blue. And then I just thought it looked, I don't know, it just looked nice to me. But you know, you could do this. You could do it with the yellow. You could, I mean, there's so many colors that we have that we could color these with. That would be absolutely gorgeous. And I'm not done playing with this. You can bet I'm going to be posting some more cards with different colors that I've used to create this. And I also, I did turn it into a sympathy card because, you know, sometimes, I mean, we need it sometimes, you know, and you don't want to be caught, you know, trying to make one at the last minute. And so, and I just thought with it being so soft and the colors in it and everything, I thought it was appropriate for that. And I'm almost done with this. And then we're just going to go on the side. Okay. I just love that. I think that is just beautiful. Okay, so here I decided that I would use the dark balmy blue for my leaves. So I'm going to get the big tip again. And I went around and I just colored this. And I kind of went over it just a little bit in certain areas, you know, after it had kind of dried, just to give it, you know, a little where it's just not so the same color. And I'm going to do that again on this. It just gives a little dark color, but I didn't want it to be bold or anything. I wanted it just to, wanted everything to be soft and blend, you know, but I did kind of go over and just give a little bit of, I guess, depth, maybe it's the right word, to some of the leaves. So here I'm just going to kind of go back over this. And same here. And then kind of doing the same here. And there you see some little light colors here and there in it. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is cut these out. And I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the scissors and I'm going to cut around some of this. And I'm going to cut around this. And I'm going to fussy cut around the sentiment. I looked for a die that would cut this out that was going to be smaller. But I really didn't find what I was looking for because I didn't want it to take up any of the space on the flowers. I wanted it to be, you know, small and everything. I didn't want something big. And with that Y being so big like it was going to take, you know, something a little bit bigger. So I decided that I was going to just fussy cut it. Okay, so let's get the cut and emboss machine up here. Move that out of the way. And then I've got to get the dies out. And these are the dies here. Let me move this out of the way. And these are the dies that go with it. Flip it over this way. Well, some of them are gone. I have them laying on my desk. Okay, well, these are the rest of the dies that we have. And then I have to look for the other ones. Let's see where they're at. See what I did with them. Let's move that down there. I know I put my tray over here and put my dies in it. Would lose them. Now I've just got to find my tray. Do y'all ever have this problem? Oh my Lord, I could lose anything. Let's see, where would those trays be? Oh, here it is, up here. And I'm sorry for the dogs barking. That's just the way it is around here. I try to find a perfect time when everything's quiet, but I don't think there is a perfect time around here when you have dogs in the house. I figured the mail lady will probably come any minute if she hasn't already. And so then that'll give them another reason to bark. Okay. Alrighty. And I am, let me get these things situated. Okay, got plate 1, plate 2. We're going to put plate 3 down here. And then we're going to put some, line this up. Let's see. And what I want to do is I'm going to look for one that's poking out. Okay, like this one's poking out a little bit more. So I'm going to try to see, and you see that one, the flower on that is poking out. So I'm going to see if that's not the route that I should do with it. And that looks like it. Sorry, I'm right up in the, it's like I'm right up in your face with it. I've got to get my camera. I've been playing around trying to figure out something with my camera because I don't like the way it's been showing out of focus. And anyway, I've been playing around and doing some things, and I've got it, I think, a little too close probably, especially when I'm doing this kind of stuff. But I want to get the cut and emboss machine out. So just bear with me, and I'll get it all situated one day. Maybe. But it won't be for a lack of trying. Okay, so we've got this cut out. And this is just the tearing tape that I have on there. And then look at that. And I'll show in a minute when it's not just, I'm having to put it right in the camera view. All right, so here, going to do the same thing. We're just going to line this up. And then we're going to get the leaves over here. And let's hope I didn't put it too close together. And I'm going to get some more Post-it tape. And this is the Post-it tape here that I use to hold down the dies. Okay. So, and there is a pretty nice border on here on these that go all the way around. Okay, and I've got a little one down here. It looks like I'm going to have to cut it out separately. So let me see. And go around through here without interfering with what I got going on with this other die and leaf. Okay. I may have to make sure that that is smooth on me. Okay. And it looks good. I don't think it did. Well, it did then because it stuck. Oh, I'm so stupid. This is stuck to that flower there. It's one piece. It's not two separate pieces. I thought it had got stuck on top of the other one. Okay. Now let's run that through. And y'all couldn't even see any of it anyway, probably, could you, because of the way it was turned? Got to use your muscles on this. Okay. Now, we can put that down there for right now. I've got to use it one other time, and that's to emboss with. All right, so I've got this. We've got our other flower. And we've got our other leaf here. Okay. Okay, so now let's get out our embossing folder. Then we can start cutting some of our paper out and start creating the card and putting it together. Okay, so here, let's see, I just need a white piece of paper. Okay, this is good here. And I need to cut it down. And let me see. We're going to cut this down to, we started out with 5.5 for the base and went down an 1/8 and did 5 3/8 for the basic black. And so now I want to do 5 1/4 for the white. And then for this, it started out at 4 1/4, the base does. And then I went to 4 1/8, and I want to go to 4 here. Okay. And then let's go ahead, since we've got this out, and let's get, let me see if I've got, here's a black piece. Let me see what it measures. It would be good if it measured the correct. Okay, this is good. We can use this one. All right. And then this one's going to be 4 1/8. And it's already 4 1/8. Okay, so we've got 4 1/8, and it's 5 3/8. Okay. And then our, let me see if I've got some more here. So let's go ahead and cut our base. Oh, it's not white I'm using, it's balmy blue. Let me get a piece of balmy blue. Okay. And now we're going to cut this at 5 1/2. And then score 4 1/4. All right. So now we've got our layers here. Oh, and then I need to cut one more. Let's see, I need to cut a white piece to go on the inside of it. So let me see. Here's a white piece here. Let's see if it's going to be the right size. I'm going to do it at 5 1/4. And we're going to do it by 4. So that's perfect. Okay, so that will go on the inside of it. Okay, so that's all of our pieces to cut as far as our cardstock goes. And let me kind of straighten everything back up. And now we're going to get out this embossing the cut and emboss machine, and we're going to use the big plate here, which is plate 1. And then we're going to use the gray plate. All right, so here I'm just going to line this up with with the line here. So I'm going to put this in here. Let me put it in this way and line it up. Okay, so I've got it lined up here. You can kind of see that. I'm going to put it down and then run it through. Okay. All right. So now let's put this out of the way. And let's go ahead and start putting our card together. The fun part. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's put these two together. I'm going to get out my glue here. And we're just going to center this on here. And that looks good. Oops. Kind of moved when I pressed it down. Okay. Now we've got our border. And we're just going to attach this. And we're going to glue this too. I use my Stampin' Dimensionals. Let me go ahead and give this a good burnish. Get your bone folder out and we just want to kind of give it a good crease here. It makes it lay down nice and pretty. And I'm going to hold my card up. I just like to hold my cards up like this. It's just the way I do it. But just to kind of make sure it's all even around through there. You know, do whatever is comfortable. That's what's comfortable to me. And of course, tomorrow I may do it differently. Who knows? Okay, so here we're just going to get our flowers and we're just going to look at them. We're going to look at them there and then in here. And let's see, I'm going to get my card out and see exactly what I did. Okay, so here we're just going to put it there. This one's kind of turning this way a little bit. And we want this to kind of go over. And what I did was use dimensionals on here. So let's go ahead and get our dimensionals out. And I'll go ahead and put dimensionals on this too. Just take those off. And then we're just going to kind of put it right up in here. That way it leaves room for this flower here because it is pretty big flowers. And then the leaves are pretty big too. So there's nothing small about this. That's for sure. Okay, we're just going to kind of give that a tuck underneath. But I tell you what, I'm going to lift it up a little bit. And I'm going to tuck it. But what I'm looking at is I'm tucking it. But I still want it to kind of come down. I kind of want it to be a little even from here to here. And that probably don't make a whole lot of sense when I say a little even, but I don't want it to be, you know, like, I guess for placement, we could bring it way down here, you know, and that would be the same distance here as it is here, which looks good. And we could do that. This one is a little bit closer up in here. And I kind of like that with it being a little bit closer. So I'm just going to kind of tuck it up in there. And then I'm going to glue our leaves down. And here I'm just going to kind of tuck that in here, and just make sure when you make your card that you can't leave these hanging out too far because it won't fit in the envelope. You can go just a tad, but you don't want to leave it. It can't hang over a whole lot. So let's go ahead. And I'm just kind of pressing those up, just kind of giving them a little flip because I don't want them to be so flat on here. And so we're just going to kind of, I think I'm going to bring this over just a tad. And then that can give my leaves a little bit more room. Okay. And that I'm happy with. And then I'm going to kind of pull these up a little bit. I could have done it before I did this, but I don't never think of everything. So, I'm lucky I remembered it now. Anyway, so we're just going to take the feather leaf and we're going to tuck it under here. If y'all hadn't figured out, my dogs left a bark. All right, so we got that tucked in there. Now we're just going to cut, doing a little bit of fussy cutting here. And it doesn't take long at all for this. This is very simple. And you just go straight down through here, kind of follow the line around through here. You're going to follow the line around the letters. And I want it to be round if I can get it round. I guess the mail lady came. That's what it sounded like. And I think she's dropping off a Stampin' Up! Package. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. It's supposed to be delivered today. Just going to go straight down through here. Straighten this up. And I'm just going to kind of curl this around through here. Sorry, y'all. So embarrassing. And then with this, I'm just going to kind of make it curl a little bit, I guess you could say. And then just kind of let it just kind of sit on top here. I don't know if you can tell. Let's see. There. You can kind of see how I kind of have it sitting on top. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. All right. And we've got that. Okay, now for the embellishments, I use the Moody Palette Glossy Dot. And so I use the light blue ones, which are, they look like balmy blue to me, but maybe it's supposed to be, what is it called? Cloud cover. They're probably cloud cover. They go with my card, so I used them. So I'm just going to put one right here. I'm going to put another one right here. And another one right here. And so that is outside of our card. Do you like it? What do you think about it? I hope you do anyway. Okay, so the inside of our card here, we're just going to, what I did on the inside, I used one of the sentiments from, let me get it out if I can find it. Here it is. From the Prayers and Promises. And I love this. It's got all the sayings that you would need for a sympathy card. And then for healing, for somebody who's been sick, it's got something for them. So it's just a really good set. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this stamped up. And then I'm going to add us a little flower down there and then color it. And then our card is finished. All right. So let's see if we can get this on here straight. Okay, that looks good to me. And then we're going to get our flour. Let's see if I put the flour back up or if it is laying on my desk somewhere. And that is the $1 million question. Let's hope I put it back in. And I did. Woo, thank the Lord for that one. Didn't have to look for anything. I don't know if you, I'm sure tons of y'all watch Susan Countfield. Well, you know, she does that Found It game. And every time she loses something and finds it, and then she says, found it. And she talks about what you're drinking in your cup and all that. Well, if if we were playing that game while I'm making a card, we would either, if you had something, some spirits in your drink, then you're probably going to be a little toasty. Or if it's water, you're going to be waterlogged. So, because I am very bad about not finding anything. And then a lot of my problem is I come on here. I mean, I'm just willy-nilly. I'm like making a card and it's like, oh, well, let's just go ahead and let's do a video on here, you know? And so, and I don't have anything prepared. And then I start looking for stuff. And so anyway, I don't know. It's just the way I roll, I guess. Okay, got that done. And now I'm going to let it dry for a second. I'm going to come back with the dark balmy blue. And then I'm just going to color these dots in the center here. Just give it some dark color here. Make that kind of pop. And then I'm going to go back over it right along these lines here and kind of darken this up a little bit. You can see the artist kind of gives you the where it can be dark. And so as it dries, it starts lightening up. So if you want it to be deeper, then you can go over it some more. But that's the inside of it. And I don't like to really use glue on when I'm putting the inside in because I don't use the thick cardstock. And so I'm going to use our adhesive here. And this is the good stuff. Okay. And then I'm going to put this in here. And line it up the best I can. And our card's finished. That's the inside. Praying that the Lord's promises will bring you hope and comfort in the days ahead. And then thinking of you. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. I think that's a nice card. Okay, guys. Well, I appreciate you hanging out with me today. And I will be posting this over on Facebook. Of course, you know, it's going to be on YouTube. And because that's where you'll find me. But doing my videos. Anyway, I just think that that is a nice card. And I think Stampin' Up! Did a wonderful job with it. And I'm trying to find here it is, the card that they made because I wanted to put it out here too. But that's the card they made. And then they give you a blank canvas there and you can just come up with your own thing. And I would love to see you create something and post it on my Facebook group because I would love to see all the beautiful cards that everyone makes. Okay, guys. Well, I appreciate you hanging out with me. And don't forget about our special going on for March right now or for February. And it goes through March. I think it's March 3rd. But if you decided to join, the joining special is you get that stamp positioner. And you saw how much fun we had playing with it. Here it is. Anyway, you get it free when you sign up and you get $125 worth of product for $99 plus tax. So if you have any questions, I would be happy to talk to you, and feel free to send me a message and I'll be glad to talk to you. All right, guys. Well, I will talk to you next time. Bye.